Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to. Let me change my glasses. Got my birth control glasses on here. That's no good. Let me change. There we go. That's much better. Well, how's everybody doing? October the 8th. My goodness, where has it gone? 2023. This is the 245th edition of Speaking of Zane. Wow, incredible. Got a good turnout here tonight. Last minute, I forgot to put my normal "the broadcast is coming" message out there until just a few minutes before. So good to have everybody in here that is in here tonight. Let me do a quick roll call before we get into it. Daryl's in there, my good buddy Daryl, and sort of an early Air Force mentor of mine, swing shift chief, if I recall. Carrie is in there. Hey, Carrie from Springfield, Missouri. Carrie, you may recognize the sweatshirt that I have on tonight. How about that? The weather was very cool this morning here in Georgia. I have a backyard weather station, 37 degrees, it said, by far the coolest morning yet here in North Georgia. My dad's in there in South Georgia, not quite as cool down there, but I know that we are getting close to autumn even in South Georgia. Jim's in there. Hey, Jim, good to have you in there. Colin Crim's in there from, well, how's the weather out there in Albuquerque? Jim, I know you got a little higher elevation than the surrounding desert in Arizona. But good to have you in there. For those that don't know, Colin Crim was the commander of the 513th Avionics Maintenance Squadron when I was a part of that unit at RAF Mildenhall back in the 80s, and got a chance to see Colonel Crim at the 10th Axe reunion in San Antonio. I guess, when was that, guys? 2019 or so? It was pre-pandemic. It was before Steve had his medical issues, right before. In San Antonio, I think it might have been 2017 or 18. I can't remember, but it was a good time for sure. Let me turn this TV off here. I was watching you can see it. I was watching the baseball game there. Roy Cupper's in there. Speaking of Air Force buddies, good to have you in there. Let's see. Carl is in there, another Air Force buddy up in Missouri. Steve Shirley, a good Air Force buddy of mine. Matt Aaron, a buddy of Zane's up in Michigan. And then my dad saying hi again. Katie's in there. Katie is Matt Aaron's wife. And happy birthday to your Paisley. I think she had a birthday this past week. That is awesome. Let's see. Yep. 70 degrees, Balloon Fest. Okay, yeah, that's a big deal out there in Albuquerque. I tell you what, I had a great time. I'd love to visit there again. Our son Jackson, when he was in tech school, that's where he did his tech school in Albuquerque. What's the name of the base there? Anyway, I was in Las Vegas at a tech show, tech meeting, or some kind of something in Vegas. And I was that far out, and I decided, well, I'm going to swing in and see Jackson for the weekend. And gosh, this had to be, I don't remember when it was, but within the Kirtland, yeah, thank you, Roy. Within the last 10 years. But Jackson was going through tech school there. I was in Vegas, and I decided to fly from Vegas to Albuquerque, and then Albuquerque back to Atlanta. Spent the weekend with him and had a good time there for sure. And we went up to Sandia. We took the tram up, Colonel Crim, all the way up to the top there, and did a little hiking, and it was a good time. Like to get back there sometime. Okay, so Paisley is it Paisley? That's the birthday girl. 9 years old tomorrow. That's great. All right. Well, let's see what we got going on here at the fabulous McDonald Estate and Insane Asylum. Lori is probably not going to join us tonight. You know, you guys know she's in London still, and it's 1:30 a.m., 1:30 in the morning on Monday there. She called me a little bit earlier tonight and said, "Hey, do you have anything really earth-shattering going on? Speaking of Zane tonight, otherwise I'm gonna." She said I would stay up for it, and I said no, just the normal stuff. But so she has had a great time so far. She's staying with a colleague of mine, you may recall, who has a little 9-year-old girl called Raylan, and it's kind of my fault. I sent my colleague over there. She volunteered. Trust me, she was ahead of the curve. She came up with the idea, but anyway, so my colleague, she's over there. She's been there about a month now, and she'll be there through the end of the year. And Lori, sort of jokingly said, "Oh, she's taking her daughter with her. Well, I'll go be her nanny." And then one thing led to another and to another and to another. And here you go. Lori is staying with them. And last week, I guess, was her first full week of doing this sort of nanny duty. So she gets this young lady, Raylan, up in the morning and gets her breakfast and walks her to her school, which is about a block away from the flat. And then my colleague Ashley walks about a mile to our office in London. And then Lori picks up Raylan in the afternoon from school, and they'll do some things until Ashley gets off work. It's really just it couldn't have worked out any better. It's just a fantastic thing that Lori is able to do. But she is really they are really bonding very nicely there. Her mom Ashley and the little girl Raylan, they took a little excursion this weekend, as I know they will several times, taking advantage of being over there. But they flew up to Ireland and did some horseback riding on the beach and some other things. I think they're back. They got back this afternoon, but I know they'll be doing some other excursions. Lori's planning an excursion to Scotland. She loves Scotland, and her and Charlotte went to Edinburgh and Inverness a few years ago when Charlotte was doing an internship in Berlin. And anyway, so she wants to take the train up to Scotland again. So I'll make sure she can do that sometime while she's there. But Lori's getting a lot of walking in. I tell you, in London, you walk a lot, or you take the tube, or you take the buses. Well, the tube, the train, and the buses are on strike. In fact, my students, we had them all work from home last week because that's such an unpredictable schedule in the tube and the buses. So anyway, but Lori's getting a lot of walking anyway. Some days she'll tell me, "Yeah, I got 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 steps one day." And of course, in a country like that, there's a lot of walking that you do for sure. Anyway, so I think she's having a good time. Happy Columbus Day. I guess that's tomorrow. I think it's a national holiday. I think federal agencies and government agencies are off tomorrow. It's I think, I don't know, you guys tell me, pipe in on the chat there, but I think it's a holiday that's kind of fallen out of favor with our society for some reason, like Columbus was an invader or something. I don't know, but I remember as a kid, we always celebrated it and everything. Tomorrow's Columbus Day, but I don't think there's any commercial businesses. We're not off tomorrow, and it's not recognized like it used to be. I don't know if the kids have school or not. I don't know. You guys tell me. But anyway, happy Columbus Day. Hey, Facebook user, I'm not sure who that is, but oh, Lori is in there. Lori, you need to get to bed. You got to get up early. But okay, so let's see. Oh, we do have in addition to Paisley Aaron's birthday, we have another birthday this week on Wednesday, October the 11th. One of my favorite people has a 79th birthday. and that's my dad. Happy birthday, Dad. My dad is in there. You'll see him. He's Mac Marine, and he's going to be 79. It's a very unique thing um, that I like to tell people and freak them out about this thing. But like when I was in my 20s, he was still in his 30s. When I was in my 30s, he was still in his 40s. Now that now that I'm in my 60s, he's still in his 70s. So, they were 17, 18 when they had me. So it's kind of a neat little party trick. But Dad's 79. I'm 60. Dad will be 79. I'll be 61 in March. But Dad has got many more years ahead of him because he's in great shape. He has, I think we have good genes on your side, Dad, real good genes. But Dad, he's a Marine and he's always taken pretty good care of himself. And lately, he's really taking good care of himself. He's been walking 2 or 3, 4 miles a day, cutting back on the sugar and carbs, and just doing a great job. So I'm excited that he has made it to 79, and I think he's going to make it to 89. Dad, what do you think about that? But he's in great shape, man. I tell you what, if I look as good as him, feel as good as he appears to feel, and am as active as he is at 69 that he is at 79, I will consider that a win. So I'm going to get down there and see them here pretty soon. I don't know exactly when, but I'm going to run down there one weekend and hang out with Dad and my sister. There you go. See? Good stuff. All right. Well, Daryl's not too far behind you, Dad. Daryl, I don't remember when your birthday is, but Daryl's not too far behind you. All right. Well, let's see. Columbus Day, Dad's birthday. Lori's in London. Lori, we were talking about you and Ray Lynn and getting a lot of walking in and your daily routine and planning a trip to Scotland and all that stuff. My daughter Charlotte, I think she got a little homesick. I think I mentioned this last week, and she came home. She flew in, and I picked her up at the airport. It might have been last weekend. I don't remember now, but I picked her up at the airport, and she stayed all week. We hung out and caught up on things, and had lunch, and had some dinners, and had some breakfast. We went to Waffle House, JC, and had some grits and bacon, and it's incredible. I love hanging out with that young lady. She's just such a smart young lady. I'm glad she was able to come home. I think she was feeling a little bit of not heartsick. What am I trying to say? Homesick. But we went to the Braves game last night. My boss at work got us 4 tickets for the first playoff game. And so me and my daughter Hannah and grandson Everett and Charlotte took an Uber down to the ballpark, and we did the game. It was Everett's very first Braves game. He was just overloaded with everything, the environment. He says, Granddaddy, are we downtown? Finally he got his bearings, and he had a really good time. Got on the Jumbotron. He was so thrilled. He got on the Jumbotron. But we had a really good time, me and Hannah, Charlotte, and Everett. Wasn't the outcome we were looking for. Braves didn't even score a run. And then we walked a little ways from the ballpark and took an Uber back home. It was great. And I appreciate my boss, Nicole, who coordinating the tickets for us. She knows I'm a big Braves fan, and that was a treat. And Charlotte actually, I got up on Saturday, and Charlotte was staying here. She'd split her time between our daughter Hannah's apartment and here. Well, Saturday I woke up and she's at my desk working. I'm like, I'm getting ready to get my coffee, and she's I said, "What are you doing?" She says, "Well, I'm working." And I'm like, "Why?" And she says, "Did you see the news yet?" Well, you saw that the Hamas attacks on Israel, and Charlotte is a she's a geopolitical threat analyst at United Airlines, and so she was working a bit, and the big concern was getting their crews out of Israel, and they had a couple of aircraft there, and a bunch of crews that were in various stages of rotation. And anyway, so they worked their way through all of that, and I guess it was about on our way back from the ball game last night. She says, "Hey, Dad, we got both the airplanes and all the crews out." They had just left the country, and but so proud of her for all she does um, for United Airlines. But anyway, it's just I'm so proud of her. It's so great to watch her do her thing. All right. Well, let's see. Let me look at the chat here and see if I miss anything. There's Mary in there. Daryl says he will be 78 in February. So Daryl's just a year or so behind my dad, but I admire him as well. Let's see. JC asked how the grits were. The grits were great. I tell you what, JC, I haven't had grits in over a year and a half. And that was this radical no sugar, no carbs approach I took, where I treated sugar and carbs like poison. I didn't eat any of it. And I'm slowly getting back into a few things in moderation. But the grits were fantastic, especially at the Waffle House. And we had a really good time at the Waffle House. Let's see. Somebody's son just walked in and she has to go. Okay, thank you. Let's see. All the cool kids were born in February, including Roy. All right, baby. Good to talk to you earlier. Your little granddaughter, Carson, misses the heck out of you, but she has her granddaddy. So we'll see you later. Take care of Raylyn, the little 9-year-old girl who's getting the experience of her lifetime going to a British school there. And Lori's doing a good job there of getting her there and back and forth and all the stuff that a grandmother does. So good stuff. Okay, well, let's see. So Charlotte flew back home. I took her to the airport this morning. She had about 11 o'clock flight, so I drove her down there and kicked her out, dropped her off, and headed back home. Okay, well, hey, I tell you what, all of the love and the cards and the calls and the texts and everything keeps coming in from our friends, our family, our coworkers and colleagues, and people that are just finding out about Tyler. Things just keep coming in. I got 3 or 4 cards today. I got some emails today. People are just finding out, about us losing Tyler, and folks are just so devastated by it. But thank you all for the continued thoughts and prayers. It's the only thing that's keeping us sane. I'll tell you that, if that's possible. But we feel it in cards, and I mean, things just keep coming, and people mean so well, and it's just awesome. My friend Amanda Duggar, you guys hear me talk about her all the time. She was sort of my work wife for a few years. And she's a 2-time cancer survivor, and just an awesome young lady. And she has a nonprofit called Genuine Human. And gosh, why am I surprised by this? But she started a fundraiser for a trust for Tyler's 2 children that are so precious, Zaylee and Colby. Just love them to death. Zaylee will be 7 at the end of this year. Colby will be 5, I think. And anyway, Amanda has launched this effort. She's quite a fundraiser. She's incredible. Amanda is. And I really do love her, and she's got a great husband and a little girl named Ellington. They call her Ellie, and she'll just be a lifelong friend. And just she's got this nonprofit and created this fund, and yeah, it'll go to his children. And it's their primary fund for the balance of the year, for the entire quarter of the year. So Amanda, thank you for that. She knows I love her, um, and she loves me. So she tells me why, I don't know, but we have just this really good relationship. She's just a great person, and I appreciate what she's doing there. But thank you all for continuing to think of us, and I appreciate it, about Tyler. And as you know, as when Lori finally gets back, and as we get into this mindset of celebrating his life, we'll certainly let everybody know about that. And I've told people this over the years. We lost Zane, and then we do these things about Zane, and sometimes I feel like I have to give a disclaimer to let everybody know that I don't love Zane any more than I love any of my other kids. I love all of my kids equally, including Zane and Tyler. And sometimes I've called that out. You guys that have been with us for 250 some odd um, episodes, that I'll sometimes pause and say, "Hey, listen, just because I talk about Zane, um, doesn't mean I think he was any more special than the other four of our kids, or that I loved him anymore. Just that he's not here." Um, and now, and now I feel like I need to say the same thing about Tyler. Now I'm in a little bit of a conundrum. Um, how do I honor Tyler? Because I love Tyler as much as I love Zane, and Tyler's loss hurts me more. It hurts me as much or more than Zane's loss. It's just a terrible thing. I wish I could. No, I don't wish I could. Um, Sometimes I do. Sometimes I wish people could feel the devastation that it is, but I don't want that. I don't wish that on anybody. And when somebody calls me or says, "Hey, guy, I can't even imagine what you're going through," I'll say, "Well, listen, you got kids, right? Think about it. You can imagine it. You can imagine it. It's terrible, absolutely terrible." But anyway, so thank you all for continuing to think about us and praying for us. And it's a complicated thing now. Like we've said before, there were two different people, there it was two different experiences, losing them, equally devastating, two different, the way, it's incredible. It's incredible. I can't even describe the experience, and how different the two experiences are, how devastating they are equally, but how different they are. It's just it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Okay, enough about that before I start crying. I do enough crying as it is. I can't cry tonight. What about football? Football's been a little bit of a departure for me, and gets me, college football, that is. I have still not brought myself back to the NFL. I just can't. I just can't. I know some of you are with me on that, but I just have not. The NFL has not come back to me. College football, however, I do enjoy. Um, Georgia Southern had a bye week. Um, Texas A&M lost to Alabama, although it was a close one. It was a close one. Georgia won, of course, big in Kentucky. Colorado won. That's good for Coach Prime. And Nebraska gets a win. How about that? Pretty handily. Pretty handily. So anyway, it was a good. I enjoy Saturday college football. I really do, and it's nice to put everything away, put work away, put everything away. But I just have not been able to get back to NFL I just got a bad taste in my mouth. I have been watching some hockey now that postseason baseball's here and the games are sparse. I've been I do enjoy some hockey, so I've been interspersing some hockey along with postseason baseball. So okay, well let's see. Let me share this in case anybody wants to. I have a friend of mine, a colleague, a coworker who joins us here periodically. Her name is Rhonda, and she and I first met way back in 1999. She looks much younger than I do, but 1999. And she's an engineer. She was an engineer. We were both engineers at Cisco Systems. And, as our careers evolved, we went on to do different things. And we worked again together at the company I'm at. And anyway, I really appreciate her. And she's been a great friend of ours. And let's see if I can get the right screen here. She's really been a good friend of ours, and she here we go. I'm going to share this here in case anybody wants to. Her son Brock, who's 18, just graduated from high school. Her son Brock reported to Coast Guard basic training this past week, so he has officially been issued a new mommy and daddy. And I'm sure he is in the middle of it right now. Anyway, his 19th birthday evidently is coming up on the 16th. So she put this message out and she says, hey, his birthday's on the 16th. If anybody wants to send a card to him. I'm going to put it on there in case anybody wants to send a card. Maybe not for his birthday, but maybe some other time. But I'm thinking, does she know what she's doing? When he gets 100 cards for his birthday, he's not going to hear the end of it. But she doesn't know. But anyway, that's Brock's mailing address at basic training. So I'm sure that over the course of these next 8 or whatever weeks it is, I'll send him a card, but I'm not going to do it for his birthday. But there you go. I'll leave that up there for just a second here. Brock Medlin is his name. Sharp young man. I've had a chance to meet him several times, and he's come out with his mom and dad to Georgia National Cemetery, and they've placed wreaths and different stuff like that. His dad, Rhonda's husband, Craig, just retired as a law enforcement officer. He did like 30 years as a law enforcement officer here in the Metro Atlanta, and he was in the Air National Guard, so he's a veteran as well. Yeah, you might be doing. You're right, Lori. As soon as if he gets a lot of birthday cards, that's going to get some attention, and he might pay for that. But I don't know that his mama has thought about that. But anyway, we'll stop sharing that. Okay. Anyway, but I appreciate that. I appreciate him for doing that. He's going to be a rescue swimmer. Of course, Coast Guard, right? He's going to be a rescue swimmer. So, all right. Well, let's see. I got a little bit of upcoming travel here I wanted to highlight. Might be going down to my Warriors place end of October 27th, we're thinking. I'm trying to see if there's any interest in my local colleagues there, maybe doing something on that Friday, the 27th. So I'll certainly coordinate with Kelly and her team on that. But couple of the guys down there had asked me about it and said, hey, can we do something out there at my Warriors place on the 27th? So I'm exploring that possibility. If so, I'll be looking to run down there for that. November 2nd through the 6th, I'm going to New York City. I lead our veterans organization here at the company, and we're sponsoring an event. It's called the Veterans on Wall Street Symposium, and we're a sponsor. Our company's a sponsor and all this stuff. Well, we have a retired 3-star general that's one of our executives, and he asked me if I would go represent the company and be a panelist on this symposium. So I have agreed to do so. So I'll be there from November 2nd through the 6th, I believe. And I'll be there over the weekend. Coincidentally, Charlotte, my daughter Charlotte's going to be there for some conference or something. So it's crazy. So I may get to see her in New York City then. And then that next week, November the 9th or 10th, I don't know yet exactly. I'm going to either be in St. Louis or I'm going to be at Keesler Air Force Base because I have asked a friend of mine and Amanda's if he would be our guest speaker for Veterans Day webinar that we're going to host. And I said, let's do it at our headquarters or let's do it at your office. So I'm waiting to find out about that. So either way. And then November 11th through 13th, I'll be down at my Warriors Place at the new location. So November the 12th is the official grand opening of the new Punta Gorda location for my Warriors Place. So I'll absolutely be there for that. And then back to St. Louis the week of November 27th, 29th. So the week after Thanksgiving, I'll be in St. Louis for a few days. And then let's see. And then I got a lot of vacation days saved up, and I'm going to try to take the entire last 2 weeks of the month off. So that'll be fun. I don't know where Lori's going to be during all of this. Lori's in London and Scotland and who knows where else, but she's doing great work there. It's fantastic she's able to do this. So we'll see how things shake out there for that. Okay, no weight loss updates. However, I have lost eight inches in my waist. The way I know that is I had to poke a new hole in my belt, and then I eventually cut the end off of it. I am on a mission. I need 2 more pounds to get to 90, and I am bound and determined to get to 100 pounds. So keep rooting for me if you would. All right, let's see if we've got any latecomers. Kelly's in there. Hey, Kelly, I've been talking about my Warriors Place as I always do. Let's see, Amanda Duggar's in there. Yeah, so I'm waiting on I can't call him Billy. I have to call him Colonel Pope, but I'm waiting on Colonel Pope's people to get back with me. I had to submit a formal request to get on his calendar. And we've agreed and generally to do it. And it's a matter of whether we'll do it at our facility in St. Louis or we'll do it at his office in Mississippi. Or we may end up, if none of that works out, we'll just do a webinar like we always do. But yeah, he's been very gracious and is totally on board. Now we just have to cross the T's, dot the I's, all that kind of stuff. So it should be good. Okay, let's see. Let's move on here. This week, military history, October the 8th, 1918. How about this? Sergeant Alvin York single-handedly kills 25, captures 132 Germans. If you've never seen that movie, what's the movie called, Daryl? But it's about Alvin York, Sergeant York. And then let's see, what else do we got here? You guys remember all my colleagues that I served with. You guys remember in October of 1986 when President Reagan and Soviet leader Gorbachev met in Reykjavik. Remember that? That happened October the 11th. So let's see. One second here. Let's see. I'm having a little bit of technical issue. One second. Well, I don't know if you guys were seeing me or not, but my screens went totally blank there. But hopefully, I'm back. Somebody can give me a thumbs up or a shout out. Sergeant York was the name of the movie. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Roy. Yeah. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Well, let's see. I was on the This Week in Military History, October the 11th of 68. Apollo 7 was the first manned Apollo mission. It was launched from Cape Kennedy, of course, and it made 163 orbits, and the mission lasted 10 days and 20 hours. That was the very first. It was Apollo 7. It was the very first manned Apollo mission. How about that? And then just a couple of short years later, we were on the moon, right? It's crazy. You know what I missed? I'm surprised Ken didn't call me out on this. Hat of the week, hat of the week, hat of the week. Hat of the week always has something to do with what the heck is going on around here at the fabulous McDonald Estate and Insane Asylum. And of course, since I went to the Braves game last night, no brainer, Braves hat. By the way, and thanks to Lori, she's a very complex individual, and that's why I love her, I think. She's simple and complex, but our son Tyler was such a big Braves fan, probably the biggest Braves fan, only rivaled by Charlotte of all of our kids. And um, she's like, he needs to have a Braves hat on. So I took a Braves hat, and he left his earthly body with a Braves hat, thanks to his mother. Lori is still in there. She just can't help herself. It is 1:30 coming. It's after 2 in the morning there in London, England. And Lori, of course, she doesn't really keep regular hours like like many people do. But anyway, Braves. That is the hat of the week. Okay. All right, let's just get through our challenges here. I know you guys are sticking with me here as I ramble a little bit tonight, but I know that Daryl made at least a visit to Jefferson Barracks this week, and of course visited his wife Wanda, and he visited his uncle Joe. That buries there. Joe does Daryl does a great job of visiting those that are buried there on their birthdays. And just, Daryl, you have a ministry is what you have. I don't know. I mean, call it what it is. And I appreciate you. My dad, of course, I always put at least one visit for him because he visits his wife, my mom, regularly there at Evergreen Cemetery in Fitzgerald. We lost my mom back in May. And my dad is a great caretaker to her plot there. And then Amy Walton. I don't know if Amy's in here with us tonight, but I love her to death. Her husband Roy passed earlier this year, and he's buried at Omaha National, and she made a visit out there this week. And that's all I had for this week for cemetery visits. If anybody knows any others, I've got 4 visits, puts us at 1,005 visits since we started doing this a few years ago. All right, let's see. I'm with you, Daryl. I don't want them to be forgotten either. And I appreciate what you do there. And Thank a Vet Challenge. And really, it's not as much a Thank a Vet Challenge as it is a vet encounter challenge, maybe, because it started out as a, hey, thank you for your service. I appreciate what you do. But now it's it's kind of grown into you have an encounter, an interaction, or a conversation with a veteran, and you chronicle it. And we had several this week. I know Daryl met a Navy veteran at the local grocery store there, and they had a conversation. Ken met a Vietnam vet at lunch today, I think, when he was with his mother-in-law, and just a great thing that you guys do there. And I had a thank you or an interaction with a veteran this week that I had not met before. I have a lot of interaction with veterans during the regular course of my work, but there was a new one, and I just couldn't. I didn't write it down, so I'm not going to count it this week. But I did have. We're at about. Well, I didn't total that up. It's at 2,330 thank yous since we started doing that some few years ago. So we got about 170 to go between now and the end of the year. And Ken has issued a challenge. If we get to 2,500, he's going to make a contribution to My Warriors Place. He's made several. He's going to make another one, and he's going to challenge folks to do the same. So that'll be fun. All right, I can't wait to get back down there to My Warriors Place, maybe at least a couple more times before the end of the year. All right, moving along to the organizations section. I mentioned last week, and I mentioned last week about this run in Georgia. Georgia Run for the Fallen. Zane's name is on that list, and it ended today at Fort Benning. I just couldn't make it. I took Charlotte to the airport, and this, that, and the other. And I watched our little granddaughter Carson this afternoon. Anyway, I just didn't make it, and no excuse. But it's down a couple hours south of here. But anyway, I appreciate what they do there. Let's see, running to honor. I mentioned it's all going to be all about Zane in 2026. I cannot wait to get up there. I know the Aarons are on here tonight. Can't wait to spend some time with y'all, meet Aaron Bartle there, and participate in person in that race. It's just going to be so much fun. We've done it, 4 years now? 4 years, I guess. The next year and the next 5, 6, we'll be 6 or 7 years in, and then we'll finally get to go to Michigan and participate in person. That's going to be great. I already mentioned My Warriors Place grand opening November 12th, the day after Veterans Day. That's going to be fun. I'm doing another run on Veterans Day, by the way. There's a race called the Veterans Day 5K in St. Louis, and the proceeds, all the proceeds, go to help homeless veterans in St. Louis, and it's orchestrated by an organization called the St. Patrick Center, and my company's a sponsor. We're St. Louis based, and because of COVID, they started. All these races started to do virtual options, and we've been doing that here in Georgia for a few years now, and I'll do it again on Veterans Day. I may end up doing it from My Warriors Place because I'm gonna be there for the grand opening, so I may virtually do that race from Florida, but that's coming up on Veterans Day, actually. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I wanted to mention Amy posted this earlier this week, but it's not too early to be thinking about this. Let me put this up, share it. Wreaths Across America. Now, here we are into October, and Wreaths Across America fundraising is going to begin anytime now. And then the placement of the wreaths, of course, is going to be December the 16th this year. Let me share and show you what I'm talking about. I'll be putting out a lot of reminders, of course, about this. See if I can find the right one. There we go. But you can go to the Wreaths Across. You can Google Wreaths Across America or go to Wreaths Across America, their Facebook page. But you can see that this year's wreath placement is on Saturday, December 16th. Saturday, December 16th. And what is it? Their tagline or their motto this year is serve and succeed, serve and succeed. So, of course, we'll be at Georgia National Cemetery, and I know Amy and Steve and Jimbo and the others will be at Omaha National, and there'll be people participating all across the country. I know at work we have a lot of folks participating at Jefferson Barracks and St. Louis and all across the country. Arlington, we have a really large contingent there, but it's not too early to be thinking about putting that on your calendar. It's absolutely a fantastic event for sure. So, Amy, thanks for posting that on the Speaking of Zane Facebook group, and we'll continue to do that as we get closer to December. Okay, well, let's see. We did have, unfortunately, we had another in our segment, wounded or lost. We had another loss of life this past week, and I think I have this one pulled up as well. Let me see here. Yeah, here we go. It's a sad thing when I always talk about how combat is dangerous by definition, but training for it can be equally as dangerous, especially if you practice like you play, right? To use a sports analogy, it can be absolutely dangerous. And let me see if I can find. Here we go. And unfortunately, in a training situation, we did lose 2 soldiers up in Alaska. There was a transport vehicle accident, and we lost these 2 soldiers here. Specialist Brian Snowden was just 22. Specialist Jeremy Evans, just 23. And they both died. This was last Monday. And they were both with the 11th Airborne Division, Fort Wainwright. But rest in peace, soldiers. That's a tragedy. I know their families are heartbroken for sure. Okay. Yeah, JC, you can be involved there. There will be there will be a couple of activities in the DC area. So stay tuned. There will be the wreath laying at Arlington. And then every year, our public sector team does make some blankets or something for the wounded at, I think, Walter Reed. And this year, they're going to try to actually take those blankets to Walter Reed. So stay tuned, JC, if you want to know more about that. I will keep you in the loop. I'm trying to coordinate that with some folks up there in our DC office. All right. Well, I have come to the end of everything I have to talk about. I know I've just kind of rambled tonight, but I sure do appreciate all of you guys joining. I've said over and over again, it's my therapy, but I tell you what, I'm beginning to think I need some more professional help because this with Tyler has just been absolutely earth-shattering and devastating. But I appreciate you guys thinking about us and praying for us. And we will look forward to another week. Life doesn't stop. And I've got a Power Pack week ahead, but I'll look forward to seeing everybody again next Sunday night for another edition of Speaking of Zane. I do enjoy it, and I hope you do too. And I appreciate you guys showing up. And the support that you guys bring to us has just been absolutely fantastic. So have a great week, everyone. We'll look forward to seeing you again next Sunday night.